Hey guys, what's up? My name's Theo. I play middle linebacker, Hilversum Hurricanes. That's in the Netherlands, that's in Europe. I play Euroball. And since this is the last day, Sunday of August, we are going to be having practices starting up sometime soon. Perhaps not next week. I've heard a rumor, there's been no official announcement, that the 8th will be our first padded practice, and that'll be a Thursday night, so a Friday video. But again, I've heard a rumor about that one. I do know that there's something set up with another team that we're having a joint practice, like a two-a-days, and that's like the third weekend of September. I'm still trying to figure stuff out, what's going on. But I figured I might as well get football videos started back up on Sundays, even though I won't be typically sitting at home. In fact, I may have to pre-record a video because I'm going to be in London in a couple weeks, just having a vacation. Yeah, I'll be in London on the 11th. So fun times. And I won't be able to watch well, I can watch it after the fact. The Panthers game, you can watch it after the fact. But anyways, so yeah. I figured I might as well do a little thing because people are watching the original football uniform suit up and they're coming into the newer videos, and those are 6 years apart. I have moved to the Netherlands, and a lot of high schoolers, varsity and junior varsity, may not understand what it's like to play American football in a unique environment such as Europe, being an American. My first year was really awkward because there was not a lot of guys on the team. Like the Dutch speak English. They're really good at it. I lean towards the idea that the Dutch speak better English than Americans do, at least more fluently. So it really wasn't a problem at first to get really complex football directions from my coaches. At first, but there was a lot of times where it was like, I'm the only one that speaks English. And we had a lot of new players doing stuff, so they needed to teach in Dutch. So I'm staying near the back of the line because I don't know what drill they want me to do or what's going on. Once I saw someone do it many times, 90% of the time I already knew what the drill was, but I didn't understand how they were saying it in Dutch. I mean, hitting a sled from your football stance or three-point stance or whatever, like I just like sometimes, damen oog, omhoog, druk, hoogspanning. Like I didn't know the words, but once I saw like our linemen push up against the sled and then fully extend and lift it off the ground and slam it back down, I was like, oh yeah, I know that drill. I know what to do. And I would ask certain words. I mean, I did my Duolingos, but I can imagine that for many of the other, like the Euro players, guys that come for like a season or two, come to a club that may not speak English nearly as well as the Dutch do, and like Poland or Germany or Italy. So yeah, or even Spain. Like J. Willie TV said, he was doing stuff between France and Spain, and so that's interesting. And I've seen a few people get over to like Bulgaria and Romania, and that's got to be a trip. So that's just like a funny thing about going abroad. Another thing kind of deals with language. A lot of this is going to be dealing with language, is like trying to read food labels. Like, I'm not a super healthy eater, but I don't necessarily want to be, I want to basically keep track of stuff. So I had to learn that the stuff on the back was Eiwitten, Eiwitten, Eiwitten. And that's even in German too. They basically use the term egg white to mean protein. And then like you have to look at Koolhydraten. And that one, it's a big enough word, you kind of figure it out. Koolhydraten, carbohydrates. And then if you know how to pronounce the letters, you can look at the word fat. But that's, and is the stuff necessarily all that healthy? Well, I don't know. I've got an ingredients list on the back of this soup, and it's in Dutch, German, and Italian. Or if it's a Benelux little thing, it'll be in like French, German, and Dutch, and they may not even have GB listed on their thing because they don't sell in Great Britain, or they haven't much, or they have their own separate product. So yeah, it's been funky trying to. I mean, if I go to a fast food restaurant like a Burger King or something, yeah, they're going to be calling it the Whopper with cheese. The menu is going to be in English. I can still order in Dutch. Whopper met kaas and ontbijtsback. I can probably say bacon, and I don't care. But I usually just use the terminal. And it's easier. But so like the language thing has been an issue, but the funny part is I actually, you'd think it'd be weird having like autism, that I would be, so I don't understand the social cues, but I had to completely rely on like people's looks and their body language and much more physicalities of what was going on rather than the words, because I didn't understand the words. So I had to learn to read the stuff, and it actually helped advance my socialization from, being in America. Other things that are funny is the fact that many things that are viewed in the NFL are done here. Like, oh yeah, well, we can do that. I understand this is the net, even I have to tone down myself just a little bit. I'm like, nobody is going to be running, a 4-3. Like, two of our fastest guys are not running NFL level 40s. Not anywhere close. I mean, unless they want to be, an outside linebacker in the NFL, then maybe their 40 works really well. My 40 is nothing, and my 3-cone drill last week was just wrong. I mean, to be fair, I was dealing with a strained calf, and I'm just going to call myself out and be embarrassed. There's a bunch of little things here. Yeah, my dumbass was at 5.8. I was not the fastest, but I was also not the slowest, which is, again, this is the Netherlands League. This is not super duper NFL, and we're not, and I'm also 41. So that's pretty awkward. But the thing is it doesn't matter. Like, even our fastest guy, I think was 4.9, 4.85, something like that. The idea from what I did at semi-pro after practices is that everybody scattered. Like, there was a few people that had their friends that recruited their friends to the team that socialized afterwards and said, hey, are you doing anything? But most everybody just scattered. To be fair, on Thursday nights, yeah, most people kind of, like, if we have like 20 people at practice, we'll have 10 that stick around afterwards, and we'll socialize afterwards for like an hour, and then everybody scramdoodles home because practice gets out at 10. And then I catch like the 10:55 bus or something. But we usually sit around and have drinks. Nobody did that in the States. Sometimes people just have a drink and then sit around for like half an hour or an hour and socialize, or they just won't because, if they're taking a bike home, no big deal. Me, I'm on transit. That's another thing. I'm all on transit now. I had to give up a car. So that's fun. Living here is that while I can ask for a ride from a lot of people, because cars do exist, and I usually do it for away games because they're at awkward times on weekends, and sometimes getting to Groningen or Arnhem is just like, hey, I don't want to wake up at 6 in the morning to get there by 7, to get there by noon, despite the fact that it would be cheap, and I could rest most of the way, but it's still just easier sometimes to get up to Hilversum, have someone take me, yada yada. But like, after practices, I'm riding the transit home. But the thing is the Dutch don't really care. And this is funny because I've just gone home completely like in my football pants. Like, you see like the peewee kids walking around like in a grocery store with their cleats on and their pads and all that stuff, maybe no helmet. But like they haven't taken anything off because their mom needs to swing by a store. So you're walking around inside like a Safeway or a thrift mart, and the kid's just like fully decked out in football gear and like not even get close to Halloween. And you're like, what's going on? You hear that. I mean, I will take my cleats off, but sometimes I'm just so tired. I don't want to take the pants off and stuff. I still do take the shoulder pads off, but I've been tempted to test the Dutch asking me a question, but they're not going to say anything. I could go home, helmet and everything, and they probably won't say a damn thing on that train ride home. It's like 20, 30 minutes home. Just sitting there in like full football gear. Nobody say a damn thing at 11 o'clock at night. Everybody just wants to get home and go to bed. Like I said, but I've been tempted. But if I get to a subscriber, thing like 100,000, I'll probably do it. I'll just, record the thing home. I was actually thinking for even 50,000, go ride my bike in my football gear through Amsterdam and record. Get a camera set up so you can see me riding my bike with the shoulder pads and helmet on. Just be goofy. Because I'm already weird enough. But yeah, so having drinks afterwards and socializing and whatnot is definitely something that was better than in semi-pro in the States. And like I said, so transit, language, trying to figure out what the food is good, and then realizing that sometimes food is better and you don't want to overeat on it, like cheese. Bread and cheese is so much tastier here. And they have chocolate on everything, and you don't want to have bread and chocolate sprinkles on your thing every morning because you're going to get I'm going to turn into a lineman so fast if I keep gaining weight by eating chocolate all the time. And they just sell, they have a whole panel of, a whole section in the store of just one brand of chocolate milk. It's called Choco Bell. Just one brand. Yellow liter containers of chocolate milk year round. This stuff's popular beyond all belief. You can never find that stuff in the States. At least I didn't in Portland. So, yeah. Funny thing, funny haha, funny weird, is trying to watch NFL games. It's because I have my clock set to, world clock. Yeah, it is currently 2:03 in the afternoon, and in Carolina it's 8:03 in the morning. Put that NFL game on that's a home game for the Panthers at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, 6 hours ahead of that one. That's pretty okay. That's, 8 o'clock at night for me. Fairly okay, but if they're playing, there's the 7 o'clock game or whatever. If it's a Monday night football game, no, I'm not getting up. And the Super Bowl is so awkward. The one time I went to have a Super Bowl party, I think it was my first year here, and our quarterback was being given an award, so he had free tickets to give out to this whatever. It was fun, and I had more of a fun time afterwards. Nobody was really watching the game after a while. It was the Super Bowl where everything was field goals. Nobody cared. But yeah, it was 3 in the morning. We hadn't even hit halftime yet. More people were drinking and and I haven't been able to really watch it here. I've watched it after the fact on the NFL International app, but I haven't been able to really watch it live. I tried to during the one after Corona. I had the Super Bowl, and I was like, no, I'm going to watch it. I haven't really done much. And I woke up for halftime, and I was like, great. I have a concert interrupting my football game, whatever. Turned it off, and I actually came back to bed. So yeah, I have to watch things after the fact, so I have to turn off spoilers on my assistant to make sure it doesn't give me the scores of the Panthers. And the Panthers app too, I have to give that. Don't tell me scores, don't give me live updates, because you're going to give me live updates in the middle of the night for a game, and I'm going to wake up and be oh. And sometimes I'll even accidentally see what the end score is somewhere, and I'm like, okay, well, how did that score happen? Let me watch that game right now. But it's still after the fact. And then going to a bar, which they do air it here, It was for for a couple of years on what's called Fox Sports 6. But I would go to a bar and they'd give me a tiny little TV over in the corner where I could watch it. And sometimes, especially if there was a football match like Ajax or something on, but if there wasn't really anything on, they would just like turn all the televisions over to it because nobody was in the bar. I'm like watching it and like you'll see the Dutch or other Europeans because it was kind of a tourist bar, and they'll like, like, they look so confused. And a few people I've talked about it, but, I've talked to, because they were curious, because I'm, like, watching it intently, so they would come over and ask, like, are you watching this? I'm like, yeah. That's why it's on, is because I'm here. And they're like, oh, well, can you explain this? And that's what caused me to make the video a couple years ago, Football 101. It's a just general playlist to help people that in Europe that do not understand the sport, but kind of want to have at least a basic primer of what the thing is. How is this scored? What are the positions? What is the goal of everything? How is the field measured? What is this? And if you want to play football and you're in Europe, American football, you can go watch that playlist and figure out what you like. I know I go over a lot. You can check. It'll be at the end screen. I'm going to go have the rest of my day for another football video on Friday. And we're going to start gearing up here for the season as it's running and going.